letter H, we'll move letter H after C, changing our alphabet. No public hearings. We have ordinances on second reading. Number one, an ordinance to amend and supplement and revise our ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 1020, Handicap Parking, Section 10-2010, Schedule 39, Parking Zones for Handicapped Persons, adding 127 Townsend Street, 200 Sanford Street, and 7 High Street. Number two, an ordinance to amend the redevelopment plan for the Jersey Handy redevelopment area of the City of New Brunswick. Number three, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 8, Health and Safety, Chapter 840, Solid Waste Collection and Disposal, Section 840.20, Definitions, and Section 840.110, Mandatory Recycling. Four, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, add Chapter 1041, Electric Scooters. Number five, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 15, Buildings and Construction, Chapter 1532, registration of construction claims in regard to frames. We have ordinances on first reading. Number one, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 13, Public Services, Chapter 1304, Water Service System, add Section 1304.015, Water Connection. Number two, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 13, Public Services, Chapter 1308, Sewer Service System, Section 1308.340, Schedule A, Schedule of Charges, amend Section 2B, Industrial Rates. We have resolutions. Number one, approve agenda amendments. Number two, approve payroll, 9/28/19, 10/11/19. Number three has been pulled. Number four, approve off-premise raffle 50/50 at the Eldridge Hotel, 10 Livingston Avenue, New Brunswick, New Jersey, for Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Monmouth and Middlesex County, Saturday, February 8, 2020. Five, approve off-premise raffle merchandise at the Eldridge Hotel, 10 Livingston Avenue, New Brunswick, New Jersey, for Big Brothers and Sisters, Big Sisters of Monmouth and Middlesex Counties, Saturday, February 8, 2020. Six, authorize renewal of interlocal service contract agreement with Middlesex County Department of Public Safety and Health for public health services and programs, January 1st, 2020, December 31st, 2020, not to exceed $256,372.45. Number seven, authorized purchase by the Police Department under State Contract A 83921/T-0109, radio communication equipment and accessories from MicroStrategies Incorporated for software, not to exceed $24,193. Number eight, authorized purchase by Police Department under State Contract A 83921/T-0109, radio communication equipment and accessories from MicroStrategies Incorporated for servers with accessories, not to exceed $55,856.28. Number nine, approve award of contract with Technology Incorporated for proprietary support subscriptions for the Police Department, 12-month period commencing November 1st, 2019 and ending October 31st, 2020, not to exceed $4,846.80. Number 10, approve amendment of resolution R 081943, additional amount of $4,073 for police extra duty for traffic control in connection with this project, which should Final Construction Corporation for milling of various city streets, the Department of Public Works, specification number 763-19P. The amount is $4,073. Number 11, approve execution of joint funding agreement with the United States Department of Interior, U.S. Geological Survey for New Jersey Water Source, Water Science, and Water Resources Investigation, not to exceed $16,900 non-pro ton. 12, authorize acceptance of grant for 2018 with the City of Perth Amboy, U.S. Department of Justice for fiscal year 2018 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant, the JAG program. 13, authorize property lien for board up security, 52 Georges Road, Block 341, Lot 1.02, the amount of $1,469.53. 14, approve resolution for a Little Free Library to be installed on Joyce Cumber Avenue between the Hub Teen Center and the Youth Sports Complex to improve literacy in New Brunswick. 15, authorize participation in Cooperative Purchasing Program Administration with the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance NCPA Purchasing Program. Number 16, authorize professional service agreement to Garden State Veterinary Services for after-hours emergency veterinary services, Division of Animal Control, 12-month period commencing September 20th, 2019 and ending September 19th, 2020, not to exceed $3,600 non-pro ton. Number 17, approve request for solicitation of funds requested by the Salvation Army in New Brunswick for help the needy in our community, dates November 15th, 2019, December 24th, 2019. Specific locations, dates, and times: the corners of Route 27 and George Street on November 15th, December 24th, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., and Giving Tuesday project December 3rd, 2019, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The corner of Paul Robeson Boulevard, formerly Commercial Avenue, and George Street, November 15th, December 24th, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., and Giving Tuesday project December 3rd, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The intersection corner of Route 27, Albany Street Bridge, and Route 18, Highland Park exit off of Route 18, New Brunswick, November 15th, December 24th, and Fridays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays from 12 to 6, and Giving Tuesday project December 3rd from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The New Brunswick Performing Arts Center, NBPAC, Livingston Avenue, November 15th and December 24th, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. New Brunswick Train Station Giving Tuesday project, December 3rd, 2019, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monument Square tree lighting, December 6th, 2019, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Hyatt Regency 2 Albany Street, carriage rides pickup December 20, 21, and 22, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Number 18, approved amendment resolution R071929. The reason to add street closing, Joyce Gilmer Avenue between Delavan Street and Comstock Street. The request, approved request for use of city property requested by the New Brunswick Cultural Center for the 5th Annual Hub City Sounds Carazona Latino Festival, Joyce Gilmer Park, Joyce Gilmer Avenue between Delavan Street and Comstock Street, Sunday, October 27, 2019, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Number 19, approved request for street closing requested by the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center, Livingston Avenue between George Street and in front of the Performing Arts Center and New Street, leaving the entrance and lane open for valet at the Heldridge Hotel. For the Porsche dealership 2020 reveal and reception, Saturday, October 26, 2019, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. police extra duty. Number 20, authorized shared service agreement with the City of New Brunswick and the County of Middlesex for 2019 operation of 2 shuttle buses, not to exceed $131,760. 21, approved request for use of city sidewalk requested by Jamie Groom, beginning on the sidewalk in front of Monument Square Park, walking up and down George Street from Livingston Avenue to Albany Street. A21 campaign annual walk to raise awareness, Saturday, October 19, 2019, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. 22, approve amendment of resolution R011984, change order number 1 with Lamanna Electric Incorporated, to furnish an installation of standby generators at 3 firehouses, specification number 918-18. The amount is $4,023. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 23, approve amendment of resolution R041955 to pay outstanding invoices in the amount of $3,145.26 to furnish and deliver chemicals for bulk feed facilities, Univar USA Incorporated, 12-month period commencing February 1st, 2018, January 31st, 2019. Specification number 106-201-18W, not to exceed $3,145.26. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. Number 24, approve award of contract with Best Cleaning Building Service Incorporated for the cleaning of lot services, 24-month period, commencing October 19, 2019 and ending October 18, 2021, specification number 776-19P, not to exceed $27,500. 25, authorize tax collector to transfer overpayments on several tax and utility accounts. You mentioned the item for discussion by that council for best practices for that one will be moved after the clerk's public comment, and that will go on. All right. Meeting is called to order. Roll call.
Councilmember Egan. Councilmember Escobar. Here. Councilmember Fleming. Here. Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig. Here. Council President Anderson.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act are complied with and satisfied in the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick, has been filed with the City Clerk, has been placed on the appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of services, both here and abroad, especially those who have given up their lives. A special remembrance, public service of Mr. Bill Hamilton, especially with the city of New Brunswick. Thank you. Minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Roll call need.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar. Yes. Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Anderson.
Yes, we'll have a report of correspondence by the city clerk's office.
Yes. Item 1, a letter from Langen Engineering and Environmental Services regarding the New Brunswick Performing Arts Center bond release. Item 2, a certification of the table of equalized valuations from the State of New Jersey Department of the Treasurer, Division of Taxation. Item 3, a letter from PSE&G regarding the upcoming vegetation management work. Item 4, a letter from Wick Companies LLC requesting a release of a site improvement performance bond for 986 Jersey Avenue. The correspondence will be forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
At this time, we'll have an item for discussion by the council. Move on the best practices worksheet. Mr. Shannon.
Yes, in accordance with law, every year the council has to review in connection with the best practices worksheet, the operation of our boards and commissions, authorities and such. Tonight we have two representatives from the Parking Authority and the Housing Authority who are going to report to the council. I think our assistant administrator is going to give a little briefing and then we'll hear from them.
Right, I mean, as Kay has said, best practices survey began 9 years ago with Governor Christie. Governor Murphy continued on the practice. This year there were 84 questions that the municipalities were required to answer. The information is used for both best practices within municipalities and where they would need assistance. It's directly linked to municipal aid. The survey requires governing bodies to annually evaluate the authorities. We asked representatives from both the parking and the housing authorities to be here tonight. I believe both Harry Delgado and John Clark are here. Harry, would you like to go first? Sure.
Good evening. Dear Council President Anderson, Council members, City Administrator Mr. Dan Teresi, and Assistant Business Administrator Mr. Brandon Goldberg. I am Harry Delgado. I am the Director of Operations for the New Brunswick Parking Authority. With me tonight is Lieutenant Antoine Johnson, who is our Enforcement Department. On behalf of our Executive Director, Ms. Karen, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to share with you some key points as to why we feel the Parking Authority continues to be a vital agency in the city. Why the MBPA benefits the city of New Brunswick. The Parking Authority has been in existence since 1947. The purpose for establishing the Parking Authority was to promote the flow of traffic, improve public safety and welfare, and provide sufficient off-street parking. These needs still exist today. One way to achieve this is to construct one way we achieve this is to construct and operate off-street parking facilities. Currently, the MBPA owns and operates 9 parking garages, including the MB-PAC garage, which opened just last month. This brings the total of off-street parking spaces to approximately 7,000 spaces for public use. The MBPA employs over 100 people, many of whom live in the city of New Brunswick. Included in their job responsibilities are the following: enforcement of parking regulations. This frees up the police to attend to and handle all the matters of public safety. Parking services representative patrol our facilities to provide customer assistance and act as another set of eyes and ears for the police. We also provide clean team services, including sidewalk and curbside cleaning within the UEC and the SID areas. In the winter, we also clear the pedestrian crosswalks within the SID area when snow accumulates. We offer valet parking services within New Brunswick. We currently provide this service for the Hellridge Hotel, various restaurants in the city, as well as other special events. Our parking management knowledge and know-how is attractive to many other organizations. We currently manage and operate several parking facilities owned by others, one being the 800-space Jersey Avenue parking right for New Jersey Transit. The NBPA operates and maintains over 800 on-street metered spaces utilizing smart meters which allow for progressive pricing and the use of Park Mobile to pay for meter time by using a smartphone. Overall, we manage approximately 10,000 public parking spaces within New Brunswick. Our customers include the county, Rutgers University, health providers and their patients as well as commuters, residents and many employees who work within New Brunswick. We also administer and manage the residential parking permit program with over 6,000 permits outstanding. In addition, the MBPA processes on-street handicap parking space applications, for those that need accessibility closer to their home. We have been and still are a vital partner in the redevelopment within the city by financing, constructing, and providing parking facilities for a number of redevelopment projects. In addition, we lease and manage over 200,000 square feet of retail commercial space within New Brunswick. With a continuous successful redevelopment within New Brunswick, it is vital to have an organization with the parking expertise that NBPA provides. We provide a service to over 1 million patrons annually who use our parking facilities. That number will continue to grow as development continues in New Brunswick, increasing the demand by both residents and businesses calling New Brunswick home. We are financially self-sufficient by means of parking fees and rental income. With a $34 million budget, the MBPA is run efficiently and responsibly, meeting all financial obligations. The MBPA remains today as vital and important to the city as it did over 70 years ago. In fact, I was corrected today, 72, when the authority was established, and we look forward to being a part of the city's continued growth and development. I thank you for your time.
Hi, good evening. John Clark, I am the Executive Director for the Housing Authority. We're a little younger than our partner over there. We were created in 1949. We operate and manage the federally funded public housing and HUD programs within the jurisdiction. We also act as the city's redevelopment component and agency. We've done so since that time. I'm pleased to report that we continue to implement and oversee best practice operations through our action plan and our annual 5-year plan, which we share with the city. And we will continue to do so going forward. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
There's a second part of the survey that basically requires that we look to see if the objectives are being met, if we could do it more efficiently in another way, primarily if the city were to take over the authorities. At this point, I don't believe that the city is in a position to adequately meet the objectives of the mission to take over the authorities.
Good. Thank you. We have no public hearings. We have ordinances on second reading. Number 1, an ordinance to amend and supplementary revise our ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 1020, Handicap Parking, Section 102010, Schedule 39, Parking Zones for Handicapped Persons. We're adding 127 Townsend Street, 200 Sanford Street, and 7 High Street. If any member from the public would wish to comment on that, please come to the microphone. Seeing none.
Move the ordinance. Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Anderson.
Yes. Number 2, an ordinance to amend the redevelopment plan for the Jersey Handy redevelopment area in the City of New Brunswick. If any member from the public would wish to comment on that, please come to the microphone. You have up to 5 minutes. One time up. Please give your name and address for the record.
Good evening, members of the council. Charles Prattville, New Brunswick today. Can I ask why the council is taking up this ordinance?
Redevelopment plans get amended by ordinance, and so the planning boards that leave in September gave advice and consent on this, and so now this is the second reading to actually form the amendment to the redevelopment plan.
Thank you. And of course, I was at that September planning board meeting, and I wanted to just share with you some of the thoughts that I shared with the planning board that night. This neighborhood is in danger of losing the Lincoln Annex School, as I've discussed here. And this is one of the last sizable pieces of land that could potentially be home to a replacement school. So I'm concerned about moving forward with plans for a fast food restaurant and warehouse space or parking garages and stuff like that here, when the neighborhood, what is really needed is classroom space. And so I would just ask you to take that into account. And kind of what I was getting at with my initial question is, this is being done at the request of the redeveloper. And it'd be nice if the Housing Authority Executive Director were still here, but he left immediately after his remarks. But they have given the green light already to this developer's Edgewood Properties. Mr. Jack Morris, the same person who's the chairman of the board, Robert Wood, is the person who owns this company and has developed part of the site into what we all know as the Walgreens. And the remainder of the site sort of is an example of another broken promise from these developers who've gotten sweet deals from the city. This was supposed to be a supermarket in housing, never got built. 10 years later, they come back to the Housing Authority and say, hey, now we're ready, we want to build a fast food joint and some warehouses and some apartments. And now, all the powers that be, the Housing Authority is jumping into action, the planning board's jumping into action, doing the bidding of this developer, and now they're asking you to do the bidding of this developer. And I would ask you to be very skeptical of this developer's track record and what their intentions are, and just be mindful that this neighborhood needs classroom space. The Lincoln School is going on 110 years old. The Lincoln Annex School, as I mentioned, is in jeopardy of being sold. There have been at least one meeting between the Board of Ed and DevCo about selling the school. And I don't think that it's the right time to approve these particular amendments to this particular redevelopment area. And I'd be especially skeptical because it's being done at the request of Edgewood Properties, and that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Hello, Abraham of Guttenberg. I was just wondering, does this
Your
include-
address?
Guttenberg,
Your address?
127th Street, New Jersey.
Okay.
I was just wondering if this includes affordable housing.
The project doesn't have any required affordable housing component.
Thank you. Here.
Another good reason.
Anyone else? Seeing none? Anybody else? No. Okay.
Oh, we're going to move the ordinance?
Yeah, I was gonna,
Am I going to move the ordinance?
I was gonna say move the ordinance.
Okay.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Number 3, an ordinance to amend and supplement revised ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 8, Health and Safety, Chapter 840, Solid Waste Collection and Disposal, Section 840-20, Definitions, and Section 840-110, Mandatory Recycling. If any member from the public would wish to comment on that one.
Good evening once again. Charles Prattville, New Brunswick Today. I just wanted to ask the purpose of the ordinance. What's changing here? Didn't we recently revisit this not too long ago?
Yeah, then we tabled it and we came back and we did some more looking at it or something like that, so. I don't know.
I believe Mr. Caputo is here, but
We don't-
overall, we've changed some definitions to change the ordinance to comport with the current trend with respect to the regulations on what's recycled and what's not, and how things are placed into the recycling stream. But I believe there's a specific question Mr. Caputo can answer.
Yeah, the city attorney is correct. We're basically updating the language in the ordinance so that it coincides with the language that we put out in our recycling and trash collection schedules to the public. And just clarifying that no one can put their recycling in a plastic bag and also that no one should be putting their recycling in a single-use plastic bag, such as, not to pick on ShopRite, but a ShopRite bag, and then dropping their bottles, cans, paper, including that bag, into the bin. So we're just clarifying things like that in the ordinance.
Thank you for the thorough.
Yes.
Hi, yes, I would like to speak on this due to where, yes, I spoke to Ms. Donna about
Just the formality.
Yes, about-
Your name is.
Danielle Moore, 333
Thank you.
Somerset Street. Yes, I did call about this about 2 weeks ago, due to where it has been at least 1 year now since we put in the new order for recycling, meaning no taking recycling in any clear bags, due to where I was a volunteer to pass out it, and I was told that even though it's been a year already where the inspectors still never reached the Somerset Street side of giving out tickets if you do put out a clear bag. So how can you say that this is under control due to where, since you put this last one out, it's been a year? Like I said, due to where I was a volunteer for the neighborhood, where to tell all the neighbors, due to where, okay, how you crush your bottles up, what to put in the recycling bin, no more bags, no more ShopRite bags. Well, wow, how actually all the neighbors are the one looking at me like, wow, what, did I make something up, due to where they see that the recycle still comes through, collecting everything in clear bags. So what is the difference from this one due to the one that you put out? It's been 1 year already.
Well, I'm not sure about that. The clear bags.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say I always appreciate the assistance of all the volunteers who help spread the word about, recycling right. So thank you for that. It is a process. We do have a big city, so it does take us a while to get through the entire city. Rather than just rejecting everyone's bags at one time and having a huge amount of material with people not having a place to take it, we're actually having direct communication with each household that may have a recycling infraction, and we're trying to help them to come into compliance before we reject their material. And it's working very well. We have quite a few people coming in and getting the bins. The first time we go out, there's a lot of bags. The second time we go out, most of the block is in compliance. So it is working, but it is a process. It will take us a little while to get through the whole city. But
So would you please tell me what part of the city that you are on? Because like I said, wow, it's been a year already due to where, like I said, you said that anyone who puts out in their clear bag, they would get a fine, a ticket of $150. And like I said, wow, I know New Brunswick is big, but wow, due to where the lack of inspectors that I was told, due to where, wow, like what part are you really on in New Brunswick to do this? Due to where, like I said, wow. You're saying that you're putting in another ordinance. What, are you going to pass out more flyers to the residents to tell them, like, once again, what are you going to do? It didn't work the first time, so what's going to be the difference with the second time?
we are actually not far from here, New Street, Redmond, Welton, all the way up to, I'll say, about Hale Street recently. From Railroad Avenue all the way over to Remsen Avenue is the area that we've most recently been in, and we'll be back in next recycling collection day. And we are going to do more, social media outreach.
Yes, due to where I hope so. But like I said, my main concern is working with garbage and recycling, due to where that's what's making New Brunswick look so horrible again, so dirty, due to where people do not load their cans and garbage the correct way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none? Okay, that's the board. Let's move the ordinance. Got a second?
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Number 4, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, adding Chapter 1041, Electric Scooters. Anyone from the public wish to comment on that?
Good evening once again, Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. I know we've talked about this a little bit before. I know it's hard to see on the photocopies here, but there is areas that are set. Well, before I get to that, I just want to ask, has this proposal been vetted by the city's traffic commission?
The ordinance itself, I don't know. I believe the traffic commission is aware that scooters are now legal in the state of New Jersey, but as far as the actual ordinance, I don't know. It's been vetted. Mr. Canales.
The Traffic Commission was aware that an ordinance was being drafted, and at I want to say either the July and September or September and August meetings, we did have scooter companies come to Traffic Commission to demo their materials.
Wow, it would have been nice to know that, and would have, liked to have been there. Of course, the Traffic Commission's meetings are not videotaped, and they're at 1:30 p.m. in the middle of the day, pretty difficult for working people to get there. And I tried to go to the last one, though, and it was apparently called off because not enough members showed up. So right off the bat, I would ask that this specific ordinance and the language and the map of the areas be vetted by the Traffic Commission. It exists for just this reason, to give advice to the council on proposals that are significant to the city's road network. So would you be willing to just table it till the next Traffic Commission meeting?
No,
Why not?
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. Now, can you tell me why the areas are selected for scooter prohibition? By the way, it says electric scooter services prohibited. You can see that on the map. Can you tell me why are those areas selected for this to be illegal?
So per state law, you can technically ride your scooter, your own personal scooter, if you buy one, anywhere you want, that you can ride a bicycle. Route 18, believe it or not, happens to be somewhere that you actually can ride your own bicycle across. You can take your own life into your hands. Basically, what we're trying to do here is to say that any company that would come here and provide shared scooter services, we would prohibit them from being able to get to these portions of the city so that they cannot get their scooters onto Route 18 for safety reasons.
Okay.
So that way they service the rest of the city, but they would not enter the highway.
I understand there's a lot of highways in this area. So, and I see the other map points out 2 areas that companies would be required to locate. It says a minimum of 5% of their fleet. We just wanted to understand what the process was to select those 2 areas.
We just wanted to make sure that we had something near the Housing Authority Sports Robeson Complex and something in the Second Ward neighborhood, particularly near Feaster Park, to make sure that our underserved areas had a minimal, at least, access of scooters available to them.
Okay, well, as somebody who lives in Feaster Park area, I feel happy about that. But I just wanted to understand whether there was some planning logic or some data that was analyzed or anything to come to these conclusions, or just anecdotal evidence.
The information I provided, just that.
Okay. And so, I mean, I have reviewed the ordinance. I don't necessarily see anything that I object to or have a problem with, but I do think that in the future, when there's proposals that are going to, affect traffic and parking in the city, and we have an opportunity to do something good here, and I just think that the Traffic Commission should be in the loop, and this should have gone to them before it came to the City Council. And so I understand that you're not going to give them the chance to weigh in on it, but I think in the future you should take that into consideration. You do have a Traffic Commission, they do have meetings, they're here for a reason. Please respect that and give them a chance to weigh in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted Mr. Dominguez to clarify.
Yes.
You did say that it was presented to the Traffic Commission, right?
They were aware that we were working on a scooter ordinance. Yes.
But they haven't reviewed the ordinance. Right.
Yes, sir.
To as of North, I want to know, would these scooters be allowed on the sidewalk, or are they going to have their own lane?
It has to do like a bicycle.
Scooters, just like bicycles, are prohibited from the sidewalk. They either have to ride on the street or in bike lanes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Number 5, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 15, Buildings and Construction, Chapter 1532, Registration of Construction Cranes, in regards to cranes. Anyone from the public?
Good evening once again. Charles Pratt of New Brunswick today. July 21st, 88 Easton Avenue, chaos and destruction where a construction crane collapsed in a storm. That is the reason we are here today with this ordinance coming before us, and I do want to just first ask Mr. Shammy through the chair, did Mr. Shammy receive my email today about this ordinance?
I did not see an email from Mr. Crandall about the ordinance, no.
Okay.
You told me last meeting you were going to send me your points about the ordinance. I never received anything.
Okay. Well,
Inclusive of today, I didn't see it.
and that would be at your city email address, right? That's the right place to send. Okay. I'll just pull up my email. It's not long. So, you know, the main thought is that, you know, the changes are fine here, but it would be much better to address the problem of cranes being left unattended in vulnerable positions. So, you know, I would have liked to see something in there that requires the crane to be put into a safe position, you know, before the site gets left unattended for any period, you know, more than 24 hours. And that's, of course, what happened in this case, that the storm came on a Sunday, and, you know, the workers weren't there. Nobody was at the site. No one was working. That's part of the reason that a thorough investigation really wasn't done by some of the folks that we would expect to. But I did file a Freedom of Information Act request, did obtain information from the federal government, OSHA, and, you know, they basically say here, quote, the operator dogged the crane in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications on Saturday afternoon at the end of the workday. There were no issues with the crane. The weather forecast was for possible scattered thunderstorms, but no mention of high winds. And there was a microburst storm that did have very high winds the next day and came and knocked the crane over. As you know, it destroyed one home completely, and another one suffered some damages, and thankfully no one was killed. But can you tell me, was there any consideration to address that problem in this ordinance? Is it something you're open to doing in the future? Could we you know, strengthen the requirements for leaving the crane in a vulnerable position?
Well, I drafted this ordinance based upon my legal opinion and research relative to the regulatory environment of cranes on the state and federal OSHA level. You know, there are certain things that municipalities such as the city of New Brunswick can regulate. There's some areas that are regulated at a higher authority that we can't usurp or try to override. So the answer is no. I think at this point, unless something changes out there, I find out about something different. The regulatory language, be it as it may, that exists in this ordinance and the amendment is as far as I believe we should go relative to regulating and permitting is what we're doing, permitting cranes. But the ordinance, as I indicated on prior meetings, not many towns have ordinances that permit cranes. When I say permit, I mean the permitting process. You have to provide insurance and indemnification provisions so that if, God forbid, something does happen, we make sure there's the proper coverage so that those that are responsible are held responsible.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so to that point, the fact that there's only a few towns in New Jersey that have ordinances like this is all the more reason for New Brunswick to think outside the box and be creative. We shouldn't just do what the other towns are doing and assume that's the max we can do. I think that after this incident, it should be a wake-up call. There are construction cranes in New Brunswick constantly year-round, and we need to make sure that they're not a danger to our community. So I would encourage you to look at that specific point of how the cranes are left, in what position they're left, because I think this could have been avoided if some restrictions were in place about leaving the crane in those positions. And I do, please enlighten me.
I mean, like, you just got done saying that there was nothing, the report from the federal government, there was nothing wrong with the crane. The crane was properly positioned at the time of the thing. A high wind accident caused the thing. You said it before, so what are you talking about? I don't understand why you contradict yourself.
No, quite the opposite. Because they didn't show up for work Sunday, They didn't get the benefit of having a current weather report for Sunday. They went based on Saturday's weather report and made the decision to leave the crane in the position it was, and no one was at work on Sunday. I don't blame them for not coming to work, but they should have left the crane not in that position, is my point. And if I may just raise one final point, even though it's not been in the ordinance, the construction department, or the DPWE has been insisting that permits can't cross over from December 31st of one year to January 1st of this year. Is that going to continue? Or why isn't that in the ordinance if that's going to be the way it's handled?
We file all our permits on an annual basis. That's how they're archived, that's how they're stored, that's how they've been done for the last 30 years. So us to change that configuration would become a logistical nightmare for retrieving records when necessary.
I think it could be done this day and age, but if it's not going to be done, then it should be accounted for in the ordinance, and I think that should be in there. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing none?
Move the ordinance. Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. We have ordinances for our first reading. Number one, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 13, Public Services, Chapter 1304, Water Service System, adding Section 1304.015, Water Connections.
Move the ordinance setting down Wednesday, November 6th, 6:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. Number two, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Title 13, Public Services, Chapter 1308, Sewer Service Systems, Section 1308-340, Schedule A, Schedule of Charges, amend Section 2B, Industrial Rates.
Move the ordinance setting down Wednesday, November 6th, 6:30 p.m., same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Egan. Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council President Anderson.
Yes. We have resolutions 1 to 25, not including number 3. If any member from the public would wish to comment on any of the resolutions, resolutions only, please.
Good evening, Charles Craddock, New Brunswick Today. Just want to start with page 3. Number ends in 42 is subscriptions for the police department. Can you tell me what kind of subscriptions?
GIS mapping.
GIS mapping. So would this be for the purpose of bringing back the online crime map that was decommissioned or became dysfunctional on December 10th of last year?
That's part of the concept, and it's back, it's been running for over a month now.
Oh, congratulations! That's great. So it works now.
That's what I just said.
Okay, I had no reason to believe that was the case. 945. What is the purpose of the grant that we're working with Birthday Employees for? What exactly is that?
It's the Edward Byrne Memorial Grant, which we have been part of for, I believe, over 9 years now. It's a reimbursement grant. What the funds are going to be used for haven't been decided yet. The last couple of years, we've used it to purchase vehicles. And the exact number hasn't been set either, but it's somewhere in the range of around $30,000.
Thank you. 953 on page 5 is, which two city buses is this? This would be the M5 and the M1?
Yeah, this is the one that does the loop to the social services, social security, and the second ward shuttles. Yeah.
So, of course, this is something where there's a lot of opportunities to expand the bus service and make it better and work with partners in a more deep way, including Rutgers, and I know that was something I was pushing for, and I know something that the last planning director said was in the works, or they were open to, or in discussions to do. I just want to clarify, this is the exact same agreement just being renewed. There's no changes or expansions in service of the buses.
That is correct. This is just a continuation for the moment of the exact same services that we received.
Okay. Does the city council or the administration have any plans to improve the lacking service for public transport?
We're certainly always looking to improve everything.
Okay, well, do you have any plans to expand bus service, or is it just going to be the same stuff that's been going on for years?
Over the public at this time.
Okay. And then finally, the last item, well, I understand, I guess your Milltown overpaid their water bill. What is this about? How did this happen?
Please double the.
No, what happened was, there was some, during the transition in the engineering department, some of the sewer bills were not accurate. So what was happening is they were starting to accrue interest in the meantime. Interest that they should not have been accruing because we gave them the wrong numbers.
Okay, so Milltown was overcharged.
Yes.
And that this is to correct it.
Correct.
About 22 grand they were overcharged, right?
That's the interest part of it, yes.
That's just the interest on sewer charge?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the resolution? Seeing none.
Second.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Anderson.
Yes. Just an item by discussion, I'd like to thank Middlesex County and certainly the Brunswick Cultural Center for Oktoberfest on Saturday, specifically Mrs. Pam Stefanik and her group and everybody else running Oktoberfest. Whoever was in charge of the weather, nice job. Going out a lot of people. Hope people liked it, and hopefully next year it'll be bigger and better.
On the same day, when we had the march against domestic violence in the city of New Brunswick, it was very successful. So thank you to all the partners and also the police department for their support.
I want to recognize, yesterday the Board of Ed gave out recognition. There was 200 plus students who exceeded literacy and the math scores, and they gave out awards yesterday. They recognized them individually, and I would say that even my son was one of them. Congratulate all.
He was one.
He was. Yeah. Even if he wasn't, though, it's still.
I understand your wife is first.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I think with the recognition, we can talk about the hard work and that Bill Hamilton did for the city of New Brunswick. For me personally, he was my neighbor. It's kind of emotional, but I knew him for a lot of years, and he was a great guy. And he really cared about the city. He worked there a long time. God bless him. Really a good guy.
We really thank you for your service.
How many years, TK? 40 years? Anybody know that?
1986. I wasn't a good accountant, so I became a lawyer.
St. Joseph, yeah. But Bill was a great public servant, very smart guy. He ran for governor in the state of New Jersey. He was the Speaker of the Assembly. Did a lot of good things for the people of New Jersey. And he was a real humble guy and a good guy to be with.
Yes. Okay. Go on to public comment. Any members from the public that wish to comment on anything, please come to the microphone, give your name and address. You have up to 5 minutes. One time up to the microphone, please.
Hi, yes, Danielle Morton, 33 Somerset Street. I will say congratulations to all the kids, excuse me, talking now, I'm in a little pain, a lot of pain right now with the rain, excuse me. Congratulations to all the kids last night. Yes, it was a wonderful service, and I will say, I did say congratulations to Mr. Fleming and his son, due to where, yes, he did get one. His son is also with Lincoln Annex. I did speak up saying, wow, how Lincoln Annex got really most of the awards, big as almost a high school. So wow, that is a very smart school. So try to save that school. Wow, we don't want to let it go. Same thing I said with the Board of Education. Then also I'd like to say, can someone please tell Mr. Loughlin to come to the next meeting? I do have a surprise ready for him. I've been working very hard for it. Tell him if he can to bring Mrs. Loughlin also, due to where I spoke to him over the summer, that I am ready with his work. I did get a call from Mr. Patterson. He did call me and talk to me and thank me for his. And also I will ask, did someone get killed on Route 18 this morning in a motorcycle accident over by I can't pronounce Tamaraco Apartments? Was that wasn't part of New Brunswick?
I don't know if someone was killed. There may have been an
Or
accident.
motorcycle accident involving the truck?
I don't have any details on it.
Because, well, wow, I tell you, it seems like nothing really makes the news here in New Brunswick. That's where, wow, I do have some pictures of another motorcycle accident, which is dangerous due to where making me scared. Wow, are these scooters really good due to where, wow, pictures of another motorcycle accident on Hamilton Street. Wow, with very serious accidents. So yes, please look into the safety with these scooters. Then also, I don't know if it was a stabbing or a shooting on the corner of French Street and Seaman a week and a half ago, due to where what? Do have pictures of a lot of blood splattered there with glass and all. No comment?
I don't know exactly what one you're talking about.
On French and Seaman Street.
On what day and time?
That was at least a week and a half. I don't have it. I have it on my phone. Like I said, I've been working on Mr. Loughlin's picture. I haven't been able to print them up, but I do have.
If you send me an email of the date and time, I'll give you the information I can. I don't keep everything.
But yes, I will give it to Mr. Charles Kravitz. Yes, we do appreciate the information that does go out of what goes on, because I have to say, wow, especially if you don't capture the person. Yes, it is for our safety that someone should know, not looking around with all the blood. And I see you turning your eyeballs up, Mr. Tom, due to where, yes, that was another outburst you spoke about, saying that, wow, I don't know the difference between transmission fluid and blood in the traffic meeting. Like, that's another reason why the traffic meeting should be taped, due to where Mr. Keith Jones, Mr. Mitch Carey, all of them were the witness of him saying that I don't know the difference from transmission fluid and blood. So you turn your nose up. How about that? Is that true? Did you say it?
Anything else, Ms. Moore?
Oh, you're not going to ask him to see if he really tells the true truth, even though the witness of it? Like I said, wow, what goes in traffic meetings, due to where you guys never know what goes on, it should be videoed. Basically, I said that's why everyone really stopped going, because I would no longer go to him either, due to where, getting disrespected by Mr. Tom Valenti so many times, which they're witnessing. Then also, that last one is my information as far as due to where it's been over a month and a half now that it was supposed to be put in paperwork. But like I said, I had no discussion with Mr. Tom Valenti. Has the work been done for the lighting, classroom lighting for Livingston Avenue for middle school?
What's the status of that, Mr. Levy?
We're in the process of purchasing those through a state contract. So it's in the process of purchasing.
So please, at the next meeting, can we please have paperwork to show the proof of that, due to where, like I said, wow, it's been so many times that telling me that it has been done, starting from 2017. So yes, please, may I see paperwork at the next meeting to show that the paperwork is being done? Can I please? Is it possible?
We'll see what we can do.
Like I said, wow, we've been going against this 2017. And then also, any new news on the Livingston Avenue getting a contractors yet to do the job, take the bid?
I can speak to that, yes. The county received the bids on September 10th. They evaluated the bids. They determined Lucas Brothers to be the low bidder. They had to send that to the state. The state concurred last Friday. Tomorrow night at the council, the freeholder meeting, the contract should be awarded.
And like I said, well, I don't know who's really worse for making their smart comments, Mr. Egan or Mr. Valenti. Every time someone really says something or making comments on things.
I wasn't even talking about you.
Well, honestly, that's another thing. If you look at all the videos with city council, how you always see Mr. Egan is never paying attention to him. He's always having a conversation with someone in the corner. Please take a look at all the videos.
I guess the rain
You do not care.
Rain must make you also paranoid.
You do not care.
Paranoid.
Well, that's not it. Yes.
Good evening. I hope you'll be generous with the time. I did want to start just...
No.
I do want to begin by just saying rest in peace to Senator Hamilton, and I did have the pleasure of getting to know him at these very meetings, and even though we found each other on opposite sides of the courtroom a couple times, he was certainly a very intelligent man who loved New Brunswick, and he always said he was a New Brunswick was my birth and my choice, and so it's a big loss for the city.
All right. 15 seconds.
Thanks. Any comment on the imprisonment of two former water utility employees, Mr. DeBonis and Mr. Ortiz?
Due process was served, and that's the outcome.
Any comment on the indictment of an additional water utility employee, Mr. Quinones?
Again, I got to take due process and let it play out.
So in this case, there were defendants listed with defendant numbers as high as 18. Does that mean there's unindicted co-conspirators? Do you know?
That I don't know.
Okay. Why hasn't the mayor addressed this?
You have to ask me.
And does he have a phone number that's available to the public?
I believe 745-5104.
5004, so I can call him at the office if he's in?
Sure.
Okay. You know, I just think it's the type of thing I shouldn't have to ask for the mayor to comment on, you know, his people being in prison. This is now more than a dozen administration officials in New Brunswick who've been convicted of crimes or pled guilty to them. And this is, you know, especially with the new indictment coming down, another employee and two landlords indicted in this case. I think, you know, the mayor should be out in front of this and should be addressing the situation, not hiding wherever he is. He's not here tonight. So it's been addressed, the Lincoln Annex School is potentially going to be sold. I am appalled at that notion. I don't think that's a good move for the school district or the community. Can you ask your attorney, how can the Board of Ed sell a school without doing a public auction?
Well, I would think you would ask the Board of Education.
I'm not going to give opinions about another public entity.
I'm sure you could
Well,
ask Mr. Hendricks.
I will. If you could just maybe ask, what would the city requirements be? If the city wanted to sell a piece of land, they can do an auction, or there's another alternative, right?
This is one of the sell City Hall.
I'm not going to.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
He just wasn't going to comment on it this time.
Why not? I'm asking, if the city government had a piece of land that you want to sell. You sold a piece of land on Somerset Street just a couple years ago. And I recall there was an auction, but there was an alternative to the auction, right?
You sell it to another government entity, there could be an exemption from having to put it out for public auction. So if it's an undersized lot, you have to offer first to the adjoining property owners. There's a lot of different laws that play into the sale of public property owned by a public entity, the facts of which this transaction Mr. Crowder speaks of, I know nothing of, so therefore I will not render any opinion or hypothetical that Mr. Crowder seeks, so that he could potentially use it in another form.
Well, thank you for the answer. I just want to assure you that I'm just trying to learn. Is there any member of the council willing to take a stand tonight and say you're against selling the Lincoln Annex School?
Not us.
Okay, I think it's a no-brainer. Not exactly. DevCo was in their offices saying they want to buy it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been legal a lot of years, just saying we want to buy.
So I'm asking my elected officials, what's your position on selling
Do you
it?
know how long it's been a Lincoln Annex School?
Yes, it opened in September 2016.
Okay, 3 years. Before that, it was a private school.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not like it's not like they're selling a school that's like, I've been here 100 years or 80 years. And the use for the school that they want to do is a very, a great project for the city. If that's what's going to happen, I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
But where are the kids going to go? There's 750 kids that go to that school. It's even crazier to say it'd be better for it to be an old school. We just put $22 million of taxpayers' money, $22 million of New Brunswick taxpayers' money. This wasn't a state project. $22 million was poured into making that school reopen, and that was a good thing.
If they were to sell it, we're giving it away. We're not selling it for money.
I don't know. I don't know. I know the Washington school got sold for $300 grand.
Well, that was back then. How long was that?
That was a rotten deal, wasn't it?
I wasn't. What was it? Hurry up.
Okay. I have a number of other points I'd like to make. So the NBPA gave their presentation. I just wanted to say that it would have been nice to have an opportunity to question them, or to see some of my elected officials question them. Questions that would have been good would have been, how much debt are you in?
Don't bring those up now. Just go to their meeting or something like that. We're running out of time.
Okay.
It's not going to be any good here.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Finally, I did address the ranking 11th most miserable city in the United States of America. I wanted to give the council a chance to respond to that and also ask about some crimes. There was a shooting on October 7th in Nelson Street. When has that been solved?
I don't know. And I think we brought up before about the criteria that's used for that you have to take a really good look at, whether it's the 11th out of whatever. So look at the criteria too, all those kind of things.
Okay, I did a point. One of the things they cited was the crime. So that's why I'm asking so many questions about it. That's why I want to know, how about the July 25th shooting, Seaman and Drift, was that solved?
Not sure.
July 13th, senior in Wyckoff, shots fired, was that
What
solved?
are you going to bring up or whatever?
And well, yeah, just rounding up the summer. July 4th in my neighborhood, Troop in Delavan, was that solved? That was the shooting, I tell you.
It's either solved or they're working on it.
Well, of course.
Right.
But I'm asking, was it solved? And the police captain is here, the director's not here, the deputy chief is not here, the mayor is not here, but I'm asking you to ask the highest ranking police person here if these shootings have been solved.
Any solving, any crime been solved in New Brunswick?
Has any crime? Yes. We have solved some crimes. Like I said before, the police department responds to 90,000 calls a year. I can't recall all 90,000 of them. If Mr. Clyde would like to send me an email, I will answer him appropriately.
Thank you, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Anyone else in the public? Yes, sir.
Hi, Luke Horbentuck, 615 George Street. As a Rutgers student, I feel that year after year, the buses are getting more packed and students are waiting several minutes for buses. I don't know if you can
You're
answer.
talking about the Rutgers buses?
Yes.
Back and forth? Yeah, it's really not under our control, but it is Rutgers, but you can go to the Board of Governors meetings, you can check with them or something like that, but depends upon when classes get out sometimes, because obviously I ride those buses too. They're sometimes crowded, sometimes they're not. So I would check with them because
On College
again.
Avenue?
Who is it again?
There's an office on College Avenue.
Okay.
Don't speak with them.
Oh, yeah, transportation.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Egan. Councilmember Escobar. Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Socorro Ludwig. Yes. Council President Andrew.
Yes.